On the way back home for the new year with my wife Sophia Young, we encountered an accident. When I opened my eyes again, we were back before we got married. In our previous life, we had been married for 7 years, living respectfully as a couple, but she wouldn't give me even a single child. Later, I found out that she had never truly let go of her first love. After being reborn, I decided to let her go. We silently deleted each other's WeChat chat and maintained distance, choosing different paths in life. 7 years later, she became a top stock market operator and at our high school reunion announced her engagement to James Miller, her first love. Seeing me still single, she couldn't resist teasing me. Dylan, I know I'm the love of your life, the woman who stands out for you in both lives, but you don't have to keep holding on to me. I ignored her and held my son's hand. Sophia Young's pale and with her eyes bloodshot, she questioned me. Didn't you once say you would love me forever and only have children with me? My second encounter with Sophia Young was at a high school reunion 7 years later. After performing a few surgeries, I was too tired to bother with appearances, so I went straight to the party in my casual clothes. Sophia Young stood in the center of the crowd, holding James Miller's hand, enjoying the compliments from everyone. Sophia, you're amazing. You've only been in New York for a few years, and you're already the most promising female operator on Wall Street. You're the pride of our high school. Yes, I heard the big shots on Wall Street are paying to have dinners with you, and your consulting fees, Alanir, in the tens of thousands. That's more than what we ordinary people make in a whole year. Sophia, I've been getting into stock trading recently. I hope you can give me some inside information. Help me out. Someone frowned. Crowd asked, Sophia, are you getting engaged too? James Miller. Sophia Young looked lovingly at James Miller in her arms. Yes, we're getting engaged on December 20th. The crowd erupted. One of our old classmates asked, Sophia, do you still keep in touch with Dylan? You two were so in love back in the day. I heard your first song was written for him. Upon hearing my name, I noticed Sophia Young's smile froze. Her gaze darkened. James Miller, standing beside her, smiled faintly and answered politely, come on, we're getting married, and childhood infatuation doesn't last. Sophia's long moved on from Dylan. The crowd laughed, continuing to praise the two of them as a perfect match. But I knew that song was something Sophia Young wrote for me. When she confessed her love to me, in our past life, we were high school sweethearts. We fell in love at first sight, and she had once looked me in the eyes and said, Dylan, look into my eyes. I like you. Eyes never lie. I believed her. Unfortunately, she lied and thinned. I calmly walked into the banquet hall. Some classmates noticing me greeted me. Dylan, you're finally here. Why are you dressed so casually? Aren't you going to change into something more formal? You didn't just come from work, did you? There are successful people here who could help you out with a job. Make life a bit easier for you. People around me mocked me because of my appearance. I didn't care, smiling politely as I kept my composure. From the moment I entered the venue, Sophia Young's gaze never left me. I politely spoke. Long time no see. Sophia Young was stunned, and the look in her eyes grew murky before she mocked me. Dylan Hayes, after all these years, you still haven't changed. You're still not striving for anything. James Miller gave me a resentful look, purposely pulling Sophia Young closer to his side. Like marking his territory, he sweetly spoke to her in front of me. Sophia, how can you say that to an old friend? Yes, Dylan's life hasn't been the best, but we shouldn't rub salt in his wounds. He's had enough hardships. He sized me up, his expression full of ridicule. By the way, Dylan, what's with your outfit? It's all over the place. You're not getting. Any younger men need to dress well, too. These days, which woman would want a sloppy man? You might have trouble finding a wife this way. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone couldn't help but laugh. After all, James Miller was dressed in luxury brands, wearing an expensive watch. Every detail of his attire meticulously groomed, exuding the aura of a wealthy young man. Meanwhile, I had just come out of the operating room after nearly 24 hours without sleep. I looked exhausted and disheveled, dressed in the most comfortable casual sportswear. Nothing fancy. Bought randomly from a street shop, nowhere near his level. No need to be so polite. I'm fine for now, I simply replied, sitting down at a table to eat. After all, I hadn't eaten for a whole day, due to the high. As I sat there enjoying the food, Sophia Young suddenly walked over to me, placing a check for $100,000 in front of me. This money is for the sake of our past friendship. I'm helping you, so take better care of yourself. Get a better job, buy some new clothes, and learn to love yourself. Dylan, the past is over. Don't dwell on it anymore. If it wasn't for you, never mind. It's not important. The important thing is that you don't lose your motivation for life and give up completely just because I left. Okay. I looked up in confusion at Sophia Young. Her unfinished words piqued my curiosity. What had I done in my previous life that caused her to completely abandon me after being born? In our past life, we went from school uniforms to wedding dresses. She had her own music dreams while I wanted to study medicine. Both were careers that demanded both money and effort. Naturally, one of us had to make a sacrifice. Because I loved her, I unhesitatingly gave up the chance to continue my medical studies and came out to work early, using my income to support both of our dreams. She failed time and again, grew depressed, and became discouraged. Meanwhile, I acted like her ever-charged battery, always comforting her when I came home exhausted after a long day of work. I thought she would understand my love. But unexpectedly, when she wanted to buy a new guitar again, and I refused due to lack of funds, she became furious and smashed the guitar. Do you know, if I had listened to James Miller back then and gone to study in the US, I wouldn't have to live this miserable life. I really regret being with you. Later, she stopped playing the guitar and lost her dreams, and I, because of her words, I really regret being with you, often cried in the middle of the night bed. I made a final attempt, holding her, and softly saying, Sophia, let's have Occult. Okay. She pushed me away, her eyes filled with unspeakable disgust. Can we even afford to have a child with our current financial situation? I've told you before, I hate kids. I don't want to have a child with you. Those two sentences completely shattered the last hope I had in my heart. During the new year, a large truck coming towards us ended our lives. At that moment, I felt no fear, only relief. Now, both of us have been reborn, and we've chosen to keep our distance. There's no need to dwell on the past. I silently pushed that check back toward her. No need. I don't accept things from strangers. Thank you. She frowned and questioned me. Dylan Hayes, am I a stranger to you? What do you mean by that? I responded, I can buy clothes for myself, no matter what my job is right now. I think my work is respectable, and I don't feel ashamed of it. I don't think I'm giving up on life. Keep the money. Give it to those who need it. She held on to the check, her lips tightly pressed together, standing there without moving. James Miller walked over to Sophia Young, looking at the check in her hand, seemingly understanding something. His eyes were filled with anger, but he still forced a gentle demeanor. Dylan, you don't want our good intentions. Then let's give you something more practical. I recently opened a nail salon on Fuing Avenue. You can come over. I'll arrange for you to be an apprentice there. The salary isn't high, but it's $6,000 a month. You'll learn a skill, and even if you hit rock bottom in the future, you can open your own nail salon. Have at it. Interested in giving it a try? This job should be much more respectable than your current one. I calmly continued eating my food, turning down their offer. Thank you for your kindness, but I'm very satisfied with my current job and have no plans to change. Some classmates shouted at me. Dylan, why don't you appreciate good intentions? Sophia Young and James Miller are being kind, offering you money and a job. You should accept it. Exactly. With your life in such a bad state, what's there to worry about? You're here at the reunion, trying to get some resources. So what's all this acting about? James Miller hypocritically chimed in. Everyone, don't say that. Maybe Dylan really likes his current job. He turned to me. Dylan, this is our good intention. And out of the friendship we've shared, we're introducing you to a job. Don't let your pride make you miss out on an opportunity. I couldn't understand why they were so eager to push money and jobs onto me. If we're talking about assets, the people here put together wouldn't have more than I do. I realized I didn't need it. Thanks, James. Miller still smiled warmly, but his gaze was full of sarcasm and disdain. Sophia Young clenched the check, sneering. A pile of mud. As expected, you can't even be helped. You'll die poor your whole life. After this mockery, many of the old female classmates rushed over. One of the heavier women tried to pour me a drink. Dylan, I have money. Seeing you so pathetic right now, have a drink and I'll send you 1,000. If you're really that pitiful, I'll add some more. The woman's eyes were full of greed, and the classmates around us burst into laughter. No one offered any help. Feeling that this reunion was far different from what I had imagined. If I weren't waiting for someone, would have already walked out in disgust. Just as I was about to call the security guard, Sophia Young, standing nearby, suddenly grabbed the arm of the woman who was harassing me. Her eyes were cold, filled with anger. Behave yourself. The woman's hand was gripped painfully, and she screamed in pain. James Miller pulled at Sophia Young's hand. Sophia, what are you doing? Her expression remained cold, acting heroically. This is a reunion, not a place for you to lose your mind. After saying that, she shrugged off the fat woman's arm. That woman didn't dare argue, but shot me a fierce glare. I couldn't help but look at Sophia Young, surprised that she would actually stand up for me. James Miller was grinding his teeth so hard it looked like he might break them, but he forced a smile and said, I heard the young master and the CEO of Changhua Enterprise are having a meeting upstairs. Maybe we're lucky enough to see the richest person in City A. Upon hearing this, the classmate Simity became excited. The richest person in City A, known for being beautiful and wealthy, reportedly only 30 years old this year, already has a 5-year-old child. And it said that, unlike the female, richest person, her husband has never been publicly revealed. Does that mean we might get to see her husband today? I heard he's a surgical genius. You have to book way in advance to get surgery from him. Even the elites beg for his services. If I get a shot of that, I'll definitely post it on TikTok. This is first-hand news. Soon, a group of bodyguards escorted a young master into the banquet hall, and the crowd became ecstatic. With this kind of entourage, this must be the young master. Of City A's richest family, he really is handsome. The female classmate who had just teased me, though having been hit, showed no complaints and only dared to act wildly in front of Dylan Hayes. If it weren't for James Miller, a worker like you would never get to see the little prince of City A's richest family. If I were you, I'd kneel down and apologize to her right now and thank her properly. Maybe you could not only get a good job, but also get a rich woman like me with a monthly salary of $6,000 to favor you. Crazy, I ignored her, calmly looking toward the little prince. Everyone else approached with flattering smiles, snapping photos and recording videos with their phones. Ivan the lofty James Miller wore a friendly, almost sycophantic expression as he walked toward the little prince. Little one, what do you want to eat? Uncle will pay. He reached out to pinch the little prince's cheek. Unexpectedly, the little boy, surrounded by bodyguards, completely ignored the adults and walked straight toward me. With a sweet smile, he threw himself into my arms. Daddy, you're finally here. The once cold-faced little master showed a pitiful, almost wronged expression when he saw me. Why didn't you come home yesterday? Baby missed you so much. He looked at my son running over and held him close, softly comforting him. Daddy was working. When I left yesterday, I already told you that tomorrow Daddy would have a day off and take you out to play. Okay, my precious son. Hannah Moore quickly nodded. Okay, Daddy is the best. The classmates present were all shocked, looking at me with disbelief. Just as they were about to speak, a beautiful and elegant woman hurried down from the meeting room upstairs. Husband, I heard from the hotel manager that you're attending their reunion here. Why didn't you tell me after work? I would have come to pick you up. The hotel manager stood aside, introducing to the stunned crowd. This is Grace Miller, CEO Hua Group, General Manager Miller, and the wife of Director Hayes. Everyone, if you have any requests during the meal, please feel free to let me know. We will do our best to accommodate Mrs. Miller's former classmates and provide the best hospitality. At this, the classmates' expressions varied. Some became extremely excited, while those who had just bullied me turned pale with embarrassment. A few female friends who were close to me couldn't help but speak up. Dylan, your wife is actually Grace Miller, the richest person in City A. Is there even a question? Didn't you see the hotel manager call him Director Hayes and the young master call him Daddy? He must be the richest man's husband who hasn't been publicly seen. That's surgical genius. Wow, now that's a real noble family. Facing the classmates' gossip, I could only smile in response. Grace Miller, standing near me, looked me up and down, feeling a bit sorry, and hugged me. Just got back from the hospital. Rest well after the reunion. I nodded and said, okay. Then this seemingly cold woman ignored James Miller's attempt to approach, and fixed her gaze on Sophia Young with some disdain. So, you're my husband's ex. Thanks for not marrying him back then. If it weren't for you letting go, how would I have met such a good husband? Sophia Young didn't respond to Grace Miller's sarcasm. Instead, she looked at me with a complicated expression, a trace of breakdown in her eyes. She questioned, Dylan Hayes, is this your way of punishing me? How much did you spend hiring these two actors? I put down my son and took Grace Miller's hand. This is my wife, Grace Miller. Her expression went from disbelief to shock to pale, then to complete silence. Maybe in the past, I would have been heartbroken by every move this woman made. But she was right. The past is gone, so why dwell on it? I have a new lover, a child, the job of my dreams, and a happy marriage and family that I couldn't have in my previous life. Looking at it, I'm much happier in this life. Originally, it was James Miller who organized this reunion. But after everyone found out my identity, their attitudes toward me changed from the earlier flattery toward James Miller. They were all concerned about me. It only took a few minutes. I can't believe Dylan married the richest person in city. Hey, Sophia Young just tried to send him away with a check. That's really laughable now. Yes, she thought was doing badly, but now he turns around and finds a better woman. Wasn't James Miller going to recommend him a manicure job? Dylan is the chief surgeon at City A's #1 hospital. He's so impressive. Why would he need someone to recommend him a job? Isn't that hilarious? Dylan Hayes, how come you didn't tell us such a big thing like your marriage? We should have given you a big red envelope. I looked at my former classmates, who had initially ignored me, now trying to get familiar. I found it all laughable, but I still politely maintained the appearance of civility. The reunion was almost over, and I had already lost interest. Soon, my wife, Grace Miller, and I with our son turned and left. Just as we stepped out of Changhua Hotel, Dylan Hayes, Sophia Young, chased after me and called out. I told Grace Miller to take our son to the car and wait for me. After all, the November weather was a little chilly at night. Grace Miller didn't say anything, but simply nodded. She still respected me and trusted me just as she always had. Sophia Young looked at me with a complicated and puzzled gaze. How did you end up marrying Grace Miller? This wasn't something I needed to hide. When Grace Miller's mother was hospitalized for heart disease at our hospital, I happened to be her attending physician. Because of her condition, we often communicated, and that's how we got to know each other. She admired my dedication to every patient as well as me professional and academic pursuits. Thus, Grace Miller decisively began to pursue me. I also noticed her devotion to her mother, which made me think highly of her. The day Grace Miller officially confessed to me, I asked her a few questions. Do you want children? Yes, I want children. Although I could say something pretty, like, I respect your wishes. I want to answer honestly. I want children. My dream is to have a happy family of 3. I continued asking with a serious expression, will you stop me from continuing my medical research? She sincerely shook her head. No, every person's real strength isn't just in the family. It's also in society and in oneself. I'm willing to support you in everything you want to do. Last question, will you regret it? She smiled. I, Grace Miller, never regret anything. From that day on, I agreed to give us a chance to try again and see if we could start over. Later, we naturally fell in love and got married. Our wedding was very low-key. We simply registered our marriage and invited close relatives and friends. After hearing my story, Sophia Young's eyes unknowingly reamed. That little boy, is he really your child? But didn't you say you only wanted to have children with me? How? Could you have a child with someone else now? Her words left me somewhat speechless, and I could only remind her of her own words. Sophia Young, the past is the past. Can we stop reminiscing about it? There's no need to take the vows from our previous life so seriously in this one. When we both silently broke up, the best arrangement for us, including the ones in this life and the last, is to have no connection, isn't it? Besides, in our past life, or regretted being with me and didn't want to have children with me. I couldn't accept a life like that. Sophia Young, in anger, shouted out, I regret it because you never supported me. You sent emails to those music publishers asking them not to include my songs. After hearing this, I was completely confused. What are you talking about? I don't understand at all. I never sent any emails. Back then, I worked 3 jobs a day for your music dream. I didn't have time for such boring things, and I wanted you to succeed more than anything else. Didn't you feel that in our past life, when those words came out, it was like a thunderbolt? Sophia Young stood frozen, as if struck by a great blow. She couldn't help but cover her mouth, as if she couldn't accept this fact. Then she continued to question me. Then, why didn't you want to buy a guitar when I asked you to? At that moment, I started to understand what Sophia Young's unfinished words meant at the class reunion. Do you think there's still money at home? When your father was sick, the family almost used up all their savings for the hospital. Besides money for groceries, what else did we have back then? Should we have robbed a guitar or something? Sophia Young was completely desperate. She muttered to herself, impossible. James Miller told him it was you who sent those emails to the publishers, so I never succeeded. It's because you didn't want to see me succeed. You were afraid I'd abandon you if I became successful. If the events of our past life made me feel disappointed and painful then, at this moment, I truly felt utterly hopeless about the love I had in that life. We spent so many years together, and yet someone else's casual words can completely deny all my efforts. Don't you think that's ridiculous? I sighed. My wife and son are still waiting for me. I'm leaving. Sophia Young anxiously called out behind me. Dylan Hayes, do you still love me? I firmly shook my head. The love from our past life has long been let go. Now I love my wife and son more. I didn't understand why she would ask such a question. After all, she had always said there was no need to dwell on people and things from the past, and I truly had let go completely. Unexpectedly, just 1 month later, James Miller's father, Daniel Wilson, was exposed in the news for tax evasion, using cheap materials to build residential buildings, falsifying data, bribing local officials, and other crimes. When I heard this, I was quite shocked. Once a high and mighty rich heir, James Miller now looked so destitute in front of the cameras. Not only were all his assets frozen by the court, but he couldn't even return home, and his father would likely never get out of prison in this lifetime because of his crimes. Besides the real victims being their family, there were also those ordinary people who had spent their life savings to buy those houses only to get shoddy, unsafe buildings in return. When I learned this news, I couldn't help but sigh. This is just too much. No conscience in business. Grace Miller, standing beside me, said with a wronged look, honey, don't lump me in. I have a conscience. I smiled. Grace Miller has always insisted on producing highest cost performance products. All her products, hotels, and real estate use the best materials, but are sold at the lowest prices. That's why her company keeps growing bigger and gaining more reputation. If you respect consumers, they will naturally reward you. But people like James Miller's father, who make money by cutting corners and compromising the safety of ordinary people, are utterly heartless. Not long after, I received a call from an unknown number. Hesitating for a moment, I answered. On the other end was Sophia Young's voice. Did you see the news? Dylan, I was the one who reported him. I frowned, confused why she was telling me this. Well, on behalf of the people, thank you. Sophia's tones sounded very weak. Dylan, I want to see you. Can I? I responded sternly. I told you before, I've already let go. You don't need to come anymore. Before I finished speaking, her coughing interrupted me. Cough, cough. Sophia Young forced a bitter smile and continued. I went to the hospital for a checkup a few days ago. It's advanced lung cancer. Dylan, can you see me? Hearing this, it felt like something inside me suddenly snapped. I was silent for a long time before my hoarse voice said, bring your medical report and come to my hospital to see me. In the afternoon, Sophia Young walked into my office looking much thinner. She placed the medical report on my desk. I quickly flipped through it, furrowing my brows. You'd better get admitted soon and cooperate with the doctors for treatment. At that moment, I happened to have no patient files on hand. I accompanied her to complete the admission procedures. Once everything was settled, Sophia Young's eyes were red and swollen. She stammered, looking at me. Dylan, I knew you wouldn't just ignore me. You must still have feelings for me, right? I know I misunderstood you before. It was all my fault. You treated me so well in our past life, yet I still treated you badly. Now I understand being with you in our past life. I don't regret it. Dylan, I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Can we get back together? We can have our own child. Didn't you always want a child of our own? I frowned and looked at her. Sophia Young, I want you to understand. At the moment we were reborn, we already completely broke up. Now I have a new family and my own child. I hope you won't say these things again. Sophia Young shook her head in disbelief. You must still have feelings for me. Otherwise, why do you go out of your way to help me? How can all these years of feelings between us just vanish? You're just angry with me. Can you please stop being angry? I've already admitted my mistakes. A cold smile appeared at the corner of my mouth as I shrugged off her hand. Because we had many years of feelings before, that's why I came to help take care of you when you were diagnosed with lung cancer. If my actions made you misunderstand me, I am truly sorry. You can contact your parents to come take care of you. Also, marrying you in my past life was the biggest regret of my life. I no longer love you, and I don't want to have children with you. I hope you don't live in the past. That past is only I don't want to return to. After saying this, Sophia Young stiffened on the spot, her face full of pain. I didn't care at all and turned around, leaving the hospital room directly. Sophia Young shouted loudly behind me. All the women in the world are the same. Do you really think Grace Miller truly loves you? Why would the richest person in City A choose an ordinary person like you? Wake up, okay? You twowel, never be happy. I'm the one who's truly right for you. Hearing those annoying words, I walked even faster. She hadn't changed at all, just like in the past life. When things went well for her, she looked down on those worse off than her. When things went badly, she envied those who were better off, even wanting to drag others down into Thebes. People like that are forever regretful and never satisfied. Everyone thought I was marrying above my level by marrying Grace Miller, but I believe in this love. We are equals. Sophia Young thought I was just an ordinary doctor, but she didn't know about the groundbreaking research and achievements I had made in medicine. Grace Miller was willing to understand me more. She once gently held me and whispered in my ear, "Honey, your report saved lives. No amount of money can buy that. You are a true superhero." Because of Grace Miller, I finally understood what true love really is. Love is not one person taking and the other giving, but two people working together towards their dreams, supporting each other side by side. At this moment, Sophia Young's one or two provocations couldn't make me doubt our relationship. It seemed Sophia Young still hadn't given up. One day, Shesh showed up in my office holding a guitar. She started playing and singing the song she once confessed to me with. Lucinto, my eyes don't lie. The familiar melody played, but I wasn't moved at all, only deep annoyance. That song was truly ironic. After we married, every day she basically lied to me. I seriously told her to leave. She came over and grabbed my hand. "Dylan, I really regret it. I really do. I don't want to break up with you. It's all my fault. I didn't cherish you enough. Please forgive me." Okay, I looked at her coldly. Was I not clear enough last time? Being with you is the biggest regret of my life. Do you know what I'm most thankful for? A glimmer of hope flashed in her eyes, but was immediately extinguished by my next words. We never had children, and that's the only mercy heaven gave me. Please stop bothering me, okay? Sophia Young's parents arrived just in time. The two elderly took her back to the hospital room. They apologized to me with regret on their faces. "We're sorry. Our daughter is sick now and has done many things that affected you. But Dylan, please tell Auntie, is there really no chance for you to..." Looking at the parents who were kind to me in the past life, I spoke sincerely. "Auntie, uncle, I am already married and have a son. Even if I weren't married, I wouldn't be with Sophia Young because I really don't love her anymore. I hope she can accept reattachment actively and stop disturbing me." The two elders nodded apologetically. Soon after, Sophia Young was transferred to another hospital and never contacted me again. The next time I heard news about Sophia Young was when her mother called me. "Dylan, Sophia Young is near the end and wants to see you. Can you come?" I was silent for a long time. Finally, in a hoarse voice, I replied, "Okay." After saying that, I hung up the phone. At that moment, I suddenly tried to recall the bits and pieces of when we loved each other in the past life, but unfortunately, I couldn't remember anything clearly. Time really can take away everything. The next time I saw Sophia Young, she was so thin she looked like a shadow of herself. Her cheekbones protruding, unrecognizable. She looked blankly out the window until he entered the room, when suddenly her eyes lit up. She looked at her body and smiled bitterly. "Dylan, I must look terrible now, right?" I didn't answer. She continued, "I'm sorry. I was so scared back then. I chased my music dream, but only faced failure. I couldn't face these results, so I blamed everything on you. Maybe this is my punishment. Dylan, if we could start over, if this time I treated you well, would you still choose me?" Looking into her bright, hopeful eyes, I cut off her fantasy immediately. "No, life doesn't have so many second chances. And Sophia Young, you will never change. You will never be satisfied. A person who is never satisfied, no matter how many times life is reset, will never attain the happiness they want." Sophia Young looked at me, tears of regret streaming down her face. "Is there really no chance left? I truly know I was wrong." I gave her a firm negative answer. "There is no chance left." After that, I never went back to see her again. After all, I cherish everything I have now. Regarding me research direction, there was an opportunity for a study exchange abroad. The director directly recommended me. When I arrived in the United States, I found that Grace Miller had arrived early with the child and was waiting for him at the airport. She walked towards me holding flowers, and I was filled with surprise. Grace Miller immediately elogied me. "How is it? Surprised? You're going to study, and of course, your Wi-Fi's coming along. I'm bringing the baby, too. Are you happy?" I nodded. "I'm so happy, so surprised." During the study exchange, we also visited many famous sites in the United States. We created many beautiful memories. While traveling, I received the news of Sophia Young's passing. I felt a bit melancholic, but as I turned around, I saw two figures, one big, one small, running toward me. I immediately opened my arms, embracing my future.